What happens when $1.5 billion vanishes from the internet and the people who took it are convinced they'll never be found? If you've ever wondered how criminals move millions without getting caught, you're about to see their exact playbook. And by the end, you'll understand the one mistake that exposes almost all of them. Most people think Bitcoin is anonymous. Pause. They're dead wrong. And that mistake has cost criminals billions. In November 2025, police across Europe shut down one of the largest money laundering operations in crypto history. They seized servers, grabbed 25 million euros, and downloaded 12 terabytes of data. Here's the thing: every single person who used that service, their transactions are now in police hands. Along the way, you'll meet a wannabe rapper who laundered billions with her husband, a North Korean hacking group funding nuclear weapons, and you'll hear the four words that haunt every crypto criminal alive. Let's start at the beginning. Think of a crypto mixer like a giant jar of coins at a party. You walk in with a $20 bill, you drop it in the jar. You walk out with 20 $1 bills from different people. Your original money? Gone, mixed with everyone else's. That's the basic idea behind crypto mixers, also called tumblers. You send your Bitcoin to a mixing service. The service pools your coins with funds from hundreds of other users. Then it sends you back an equivalent amount from that pool to a new wallet address. The key part: the coins you receive aren't yours anymore. They belong to someone else. On paper, the connection between your old wallet and your new one looks broken. These services charge fees, usually between 0.3% and 3% of what you mix. Some offer delay features. Your coins sit for hours or days before they come back. This makes timing analysis harder for investigators. There are two main types. Custodial mixers take your crypto. They hold it while they shuffle everything around. Then they send it back. This is simple, but it means trusting strangers on the internet with your money. Peer-to-peer mixers work differently. They connect users who want to trade coins directly. No middleman holding funds. Harder to use, but no single point of failure. Now that you understand how mixers work, here's a question. What percentage of Bitcoin transactions can law enforcement actually trace? A, less than 10%, B, about half, C, nearly all of them. The answer might shock you. Now, here's where things get complicated. Not everyone using mixers is a criminal. Bitcoin's blockchain is public. Anyone can see every transaction ever made. If someone figures out that one wallet address belongs to you, they can trace your entire financial history. Your salary, your purchases, your savings, everything is visible to anyone who knows where to look. Think about a journalist protecting a source in a dangerous country. Think about a dissident hiding from a government that wants to silence them. Think about a business owner who doesn't want competitors seeing their supplier payments. These are legitimate reasons to want privacy. The technology itself doesn't care who uses it. A mixing service treats a ransomware gang the same as a political activist. That moral gray zone is what makes this story so interesting, because the same tool that protects privacy also enables some of the worst crimes on the internet. And the numbers? They're staggering. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The same tool protecting a journalist in danger could be washing money for a ransomware gang. Keep that tension in mind. It becomes important later. In 2024, approximately $45 billion in cryptocurrency moved through illegal channels. That's the estimate from blockchain analytics firms who track this stuff. Mixers are a big piece of that puzzle. Let me walk you through the three biggest mixer busts in history. Best Mixer, shut down in May 2019. In just 1 year, it processed around 27,000 Bitcoin. That's over $200 million. Dutch authorities determined most of it came from criminal sources. Chip Mixer, taken down in March 2023, this one was massive. Over $3 billion laundered since 2017. 700 million connected to stolen funds, 17 million linked to ransomware, 200 million from darknet drug markets. Crypto Mixer, the most recent, November 2025, part of something called Operation Olympia. Over 1.3 billion euros mixed since 2016. Police grabbed 25 million in crypto and 12 terabytes of data. That data is the scary part for anyone who used these services, because buried in those logs are IP addresses, transaction records, chat messages, everything needed to link anonymous cryptocurrency back to real people. Mixers serve as the washing machine for almost every type of crypto crime. Ransomware is a big one. When hackers encrypt your data and demand Bitcoin payment, the damage is immediate. Hospitals lose access to patient records, businesses grind to a halt, lives are disrupted. But for the criminals, there's a problem. That payment creates a traceable link. Mixers solve this. Investigators found Chipmixer connected to major ransomware families: Zeppelin, Suncrypt, Lockbit. The list goes on. Within hours of receiving ransom payments, criminals would push funds through mixers. Darknet markets have relied on mixers since the beginning. When Silk Road launched in 2011, it was clear that Bitcoin's traceability was a problem. Many marketplaces required buyers to mix their coins before purchasing anything. Research shows darknet Bitcoin usage grew by over 14,000% between 2012 and 2018. That's not a typo. 14,000%, even after major law enforcement takedowns. Exchange hacks create massive demand for mixing. When someone steals millions from a crypto exchange, they can't just spend it. Every major exchange is watching for those exact coins. This brings us to one of the wildest money laundering stories in crypto history. In 2016, someone hacked the Bitfinex exchange. They stole nearly 120,000 Bitcoin. At the time, that was worth $72 million. The case went cold for years. Then in February 2022, the FBI arrested Ilya Lichtenstein and his wife Heather Morgan. Morgan had a side career as a rapper named Razzlekhan. Her songs were bizarre. Her videos were stranger. She called herself the Crocodile of Wall Street. She and her husband had been slowly laundering the stolen Bitcoin for years. Here's how they did it. First, they moved money slowly, only tens to hundreds of thousands at a time. They wanted to avoid automated detection systems. For nearly 2 years, they stopped moving funds entirely, just sat on the crypto, waiting. When they started again, they used every trick available. Chain hopping, they converted Bitcoin to Monero, then to Ethereum, then back to Bitcoin. Each jump crossed a different blockchain. Multiple mixers. They didn't trust one service. They ran funds through several fake identities. They opened accounts at exchanges using fraudulent documents. They hired money mules as frontmen. Layering. They created hundreds of wallet addresses, moved money between them in complex patterns. Despite all of this, they got caught. Pause. How? Investigators accessed Liechtenstein's cloud storage account. Inside, they found wallet information and private keys, the digital equivalent of hiding your robbery notes in a filing cabinet labeled robbery notes. Authorities recovered approximately 94,000 Bitcoin. At the time, that was $3.6 billion, the largest cryptocurrency seizure in U.S. history. In August 2023, Liechtenstein admitted something that shocked investigators. He wasn't just the launderer, he was the original hacker. The guy who broke into Bitfinex in 2016, he got 5 years, Morgan got 18 months. Here's something to consider. If you stole crypto today and waited 10 years to cash it out, do you think you'd be safe? Before you answer, you need to see the full criminal toolkit, because mixers are just the beginning. Mixers are just one weapon in the arsenal. The really sophisticated criminals, they layer technique on top of technique until investigators are chasing ghosts. Here's what that looks like. Chain hopping works like this. You start with Bitcoin. You convert it to Monero. Monero is different. It has built-in privacy features that hide transaction details. Your trail goes dark. Then you convert to Ethereum, then maybe back to Bitcoin. Each conversion creates a gap in the evidence chain. Privacy coins take this further. Monero is the gold standard, and this is where it gets interesting for anyone watching. Every Monero transaction uses something called ring signatures. Your real transaction gets bundled with 10 or more fake ones. Investigators can't tell which is real. Transaction amounts are hidden. Addresses are one-time use. Even blockchain analytics firms admit defeat with Monero. One researcher put it bluntly, some privacy coins remain completely impervious to analysis. Which raises an obvious question. Why don't all criminals just use Monero? Decentralized exchanges let you trade without identity verification. No accounts, no ID uploads, just connect your wallet and trade. Studies show that stricter regulations push people toward these platforms. When countries crack down on centralized exchanges, traders move to DEX where nobody asks questions. Layering is an old money laundering technique that works perfectly on blockchains. Create dozens or hundreds of wallets, move funds between them in complex patterns, split amounts unpredictably, add random delays. Now here's where dirty crypto becomes clean cash. OTC brokers, over-the-counter trading desks that convert cryptocurrency to physical money. Legitimate ones serve big investors, but in the wrong jurisdiction, They're the final escape hatch for criminals. One investigation found cash desks that asked for just one thing: a photo of a banknote serial number. That's it. No ID, no questions. Send crypto, walk away with cash. Here's where this story gets genuinely scary. The Lazarus Group is a North Korean hacking organization. They work directly for the government. Their mission? Steal cryptocurrency to fund the nuclear weapons program. Let me give you some numbers. February 2025. They stole $1.4 billion from the Bybit exchange. That's the largest cryptocurrency theft in history. November 2025, 30 million from South Korea's Upbit exchange. Between 2017 and 2023, over 3 billion total. What makes Lazarus different is patience. Normal criminals try to cash out fast, get the money before authorities catch up. North Korean operatives will sit on stolen crypto for years. They slowly launder it through mixers, privacy coins, and shell companies. They understand that patience reduces detection risk. The money goes to fund missiles, nuclear research, weapons programs. This isn't just a law enforcement problem anymore. It's a national security crisis. Crypto mixers aren't just helping criminals buy drugs or evade taxes. They're funding weapons of mass destruction. But here's where the story turns. Here's the twist in this story. Pause. The technology that criminals thought would protect them, it's becoming their biggest vulnerability. Every Bitcoin transaction creates a permanent record, immutable, unchangeable. The blockchain remembers everything. Around 2014, investigators made a critical finding. They could weaponize this transparency. Tigran Gambarian was an IRS criminal investigator. Working with startups like Chainalysis, he developed techniques that provided even greater transparency than traditional financial systems. Think about that. Bitcoin is now more transparent than regular banking, not less. Every transaction you've ever made, still on the chain, waiting. Address clustering is the foundation of crypto forensics. When you make a Bitcoin transaction using multiple addresses, those addresses get linked together. Software can identify that they belong to the same person. There's something called the multi-input heuristic. If a transaction combines inputs from several addresses, you need private keys for all of them to make it work. That strongly suggests common ownership. These analytics companies maintain massive databases, over 6.4 billion labeled addresses across 43 cryptocurrency networks, darknet markets, ransomware wallets, mixing services, exchanges. When investigators find an unknown address, they can trace its history, see what it's interacted with. The software assigns risk scores based on proximity to known criminal wallets. Remember those mixer takedowns I mentioned? Let's look at what investigators actually found. When Dutch authorities seized Best Mixer, they got everything. Every interaction on the platform for an entire year, IP addresses, transaction details, chat messages, pause, and the message they left on the seized website, just 4 words. You are not anonymous. Chip Mixer was harder. It operated as a Tor hidden service, concealed server locations, advanced anonymization features. They still tracked down the operator, a man named Min Quoc Nguyen in Vietnam. German police seized the servers, 7 terabytes of data, 46 million in cryptocurrency. The seized data exposed connections to stolen funds, ransomware, darknet markets, North Korean hackers, and Russian military intelligence. Operation Olympia against Crypto Mixer followed the same pattern. Servers seized, domain taken, 12 terabytes of data. Anyone who used that service now has their transaction history in police databases. This works in practice too. The Silk Road takedown pioneered these techniques. FBI agents traced Bitcoin transactions from the marketplace to identify Ross Ulbricht's wallets. Combined with old forum posts where he used his real email, they built an airtight case. The government seized 144,000 Bitcoin. In 2021, they grabbed another 50,000 that had been stolen from Silk Road in 2013. That crypto sat in a hacker's wallet for 8 years. They still tracked it. Operation Bayonet took down Alphabay in 2017. But here's the clever part. Authorities didn't just shut it down. They secretly took control of rival marketplace Hansa at the same time. When Alphabay users fled to Hansa, they were actually fleeing to a police-run operation. Law enforcement collected intelligence on everyone who showed up. The blockchain's permanence is both beautiful and terrifying. Crimes from years ago can be solved tomorrow. That anonymous transaction you made in 2020, it's still sitting there, waiting for someone clever enough to connect the dots. Before we look at the future, here's a challenge question for you. Pause and think about this. A whistleblower needs to expose corruption at a powerful corporation. They need financial privacy to protect their identity. Should crypto mixers exist for cases like this? Or does that same privacy tool cause more harm than good? Drop your thoughts in the comments. There's no easy answer. So, where does this leave us? The cat and mouse game never ends. Every time criminals find a new hiding spot, investigators develop a new way to find them. And every time investigators close a door, criminals find a window. But one thing has changed forever. Regulators are tightening rules. The US Treasury sanctioned Tornado Cash, a decentralized mixer. Developers have faced criminal charges simply for writing code. Meanwhile, criminals adapt. Monero adoption on darknet markets is rising. Nearly half of new marketplaces accept only privacy coins now. Decentralized vendor shops are replacing centralized markets that are easier to shut down. But the technology isn't standing still either. Zero knowledge proofs are changing everything. These mathematical protocols let you prove something is true without revealing the underlying information. Think of it like proving you're over 21 without showing your ID. You prove the fact without exposing the data. Zcash and newer privacy coins use this tech to provide real anonymity. But here's the twist: the same technology that criminals want could also solve the privacy versus transparency problem. Imagine proving you paid your taxes without revealing your entire financial history, or proving you're not a money launderer without exposing every transaction. This tech could thread the needle. And then there's AI. Law enforcement agencies are now deploying machine learning algorithms that can spot patterns humans miss. They analyze millions of transactions per second, flagging suspicious behavior with scary accuracy. One forensics firm claims their AI can predict which wallets will be involved in future crimes. But criminals have AI too. Some darknet markets now use AI to generate unique wallet addresses for every transaction, making patterns harder to track. Others use AI to optimize their mixing strategies in real time. It's an AI arms race, and both sides are getting smarter. Looking further ahead, quantum computing is the elephant in the room. When quantum computers become powerful enough, they could potentially break the encryption protecting crypto wallets. That means every wallet address ever used could theoretically be exposed. The blockchain never forgets, and quantum computers might give investigators the key to read everything it remembers. Here's your second challenge. 10 years from now, will privacy coins still exist? Or will governments ban them entirely? Will we live in a world of complete financial transparency? Or will we find a middle ground? Pause and make your prediction. What does 2035 look like? The fundamental question remains unresolved. How do we balance legitimate privacy against the need to catch serious criminals? Privacy advocates make valid points. Financial surveillance threatens civil liberties. Tools that catch terrorists can also track political dissidents. Law enforcement has valid points too. Anonymity enables ransomware attacks that shut down hospitals mid surgery, drug trafficking that destroys families, nuclear weapons funding that threatens millions. The victims are real. Neither side is entirely wrong. And here's the paradox regulators face. Ban mixers, and criminals just move to privacy coins. Ban privacy coins in your country, and criminals operate from jurisdictions that don't care. Create global regulations, and decentralized protocols emerge that no one controls. It's regulatory whack a mole at a global scale. Some governments think they have a solution: central bank digital currencies, a digital dollar, a digital euro, government controlled crypto where every transaction can be monitored in real time. It would eliminate crypto crime overnight, but at what cost? Would you trust your government with complete visibility into every purchase you make? But there might be a middle ground emerging: privacy preserving compliance. Using zero knowledge proofs and similar tech, you could prove you're following the law without revealing your entire financial life. Some new protocols are built around this idea: privacy by default, transparency when required by court order. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Ultimately, this isn't just about technology. It's about human choices: developers choosing what to build, users choosing what to adopt, regulators choosing what to enforce, and all of us choosing what kind of financial future we want. The technology is morally neutral. The question is, what will we do with it? Here's what I want you to remember: technology is never truly anonymous. The blockchain remembers everything. That patient, permanent record has become law enforcement's greatest weapon and every crypto criminal's worst nightmare. One more thing that needs saying. Despite the headlines, crypto isn't primarily used for crime. Studies show illicit transactions make up less than 1% of all crypto activity. Traditional banking systems still move far more criminal money than crypto ever has. But crypto's transparency makes it easier to catch and sensationalize. That's worth remembering when you read the next scary headline. So, what does this mean for you? If you're considering mixing services for legitimate privacy, understand the risks. Those servers can be seized, those logs can be decrypted. That transaction you make today might connect to your real identity years from now. The safer approach: use privacy focused tools that don't require trusting a third party with your data. Want real privacy? Here's what actually works. Use privacy coins designed for it from the start, like Monero, rather than trying to make Bitcoin anonymous. Never reuse addresses. Run your own node so you're not trusting someone else's server. Use a VPN, but know that VPNs can be compromised too. And understand that perfect privacy online probably doesn't exist. It's risk reduction, not elimination. Final challenge question. Would you use a crypto mixer if you knew police might seize it 5 years from now? Even if your use was completely legal, like protecting your wealth from an abusive ex partner or an oppressive regime. Where's your line between privacy and risk? There's no judgment here, just honest reflection. If this changed how you think about crypto privacy, subscribe. I break down stories like this every week. Drop a comment. What surprised you most? And remember the lesson of every single mixer takedown. On the blockchain, nothing ever disappears. Quiz answer. Nearly all Bitcoin transactions can be traced by law enforcement with the right tools. And waiting 10 years wouldn't save you. The Silk Road case proved funds can be traced and seized years after the original crime.